Whoa. Ready? We're on.
Yes, I am.
Okay. The mic slipped. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nancy DeKatch Caregiver Show. And we're here to talk about some of the things that are pressing on your mind. And we are a show that's dedicated to offer the caregiver some resources, some education, some laughter, just a great place for you to tune in. And just before we get on the show, we were talking about personal relationships. And it's really interesting how life changes when we're put in a situation. But laughter is something that never gets old. And it is the cure for just about anything. And John and Ron and I were just talking about relationships, and we were having the greatest time. And I always say that the after show is better than the actual show. We talk about the funniest things after the show is over. But one thing we were talking about was, how does somebody stay married for such a long time? And we were talking about some couples that have been married over 50 years, perhaps 60 years. I was only married a short time to Joe. It was a second marriage. But I could have stayed married to him for the rest of my life. And I think what happened with that, the way it worked, is I knew my place, and he made me feel so important in his life. It's not that we didn't have disagreements. And, you have to have a good relationship when you're going through such a traumatic time with your health. But I always knew he loved me. But we did getting in some pretty heated discussions. He was a criminal psychologist. I was a housewife. So go figure, He had more to deal with and more life experiences than I did. But John, you were talking about this one incident. You were walking by somebody's house and you saw something funny.
Yes, like one day I was walking down Minnesota, which is this street that goes by, right by the cemetery, by the studio, and it was like there was a second floor apartment, obviously, and there was an upstairs stairs going to it. I just passed by it, or just passing by. All of a sudden, I saw stuff flying down there. Flying out of the house. So it looked like clothing. Then all of a sudden, some looks like a small, like a radio system or a stereo system comes crashing down. And look up, and a woman is up at the top of the stairs. She says, "Did I hit you?" And I goes, "No." And I guess what I think is probably where a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship was going awry, and he was getting displaced rapidly, I could say. And it was like, but it was just like, I've seen that so many times. You go by houses, you can see stuff laying there in the snow or out there in the yard, and it was like, then you found out that so-and-so and such broke up.
Yep.
Acrimoniously. Very acrimoniously. I guess, the proverbial stuff hit the fan. And they're together, you see them together, there'd be a couple, they'd huggy, kissy, and then next week they're ripping each other to shreds. So I just think that I never understood the permanence of a relationship, how that could be possible. People just seem to really want a desire to be with that person, or maybe a desire not to be alone. I don't know which drives people, but
it is something. Any relationship, you have ups and downs. It's those extremes, and they have to be dealt with. When you're super happy with things, that has to be dealt with, and when you're super sad with things, that has to be dealt with too. But it's that rage, I think. There's some disappointment, little things aren't dealt with, things aren't nipped in the bud, things aren't talked about, maybe things are uncomfortable, maybe there's something to hide. We just don't know, but relationships are funny. When you start dealing with relationships, especially in a marriage, and one of the spouses ends up with Alzheimer's or dementia, well, I'll tell you take any of the bad things and you cherish them. Because once that memory's gone, you can never have that communication with that individual again. Their past, one past is remembered, the other past is forgotten about. And it's so tragic.
Alzheimer's has got to be one of the worst things that happen to a human, because despite it all, I think when you hear people say, I wish I were something, I wish I were dead. When they say that, a lot of times they mean just wish their situation was better. But when you actually analyze and ask them questions later, they would say they just wish the situation was better in their life. But we always want to cling to our own identity. We just wish our situation was better, or we're different people in our lives, or different things are going on around it. But when you have Alzheimer's, what's tragic, I think, is also merciful, is that you're not aware of how much of you lost.
Yeah.
But I think Alzheimer has to be the most horrifying disease out there. The other ones are death. They all lead to death. Eventually, Alzheimer's has things that do lead to death connected to it. I don't know if it actually leads to death in itself, but I think there's usually things going on with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Alzheimer's has to be, it robs the memory, and that's what, especially in Western religious tradition, we still have a value of that. That's what goes on in the afterlife. That's what goes on, gets judgment or receives reward, is the identity. Basically that's what the soul is, your identity, is connected to it. And yet that to have that taken from, you can almost start sobbing when you actually start having to let that really sink in about how horrific that really is.
Yeah, because there's a lifetime that's been developed, and you develop these character traits, you develop a career, you develop a reputation, you develop relationships with not only your family, but your extended family, but your neighbors and your coworkers, and then suddenly this disease takes over, and people remember you, but you don't remember them.
Not only that, you don't remember who you are. You lose a lot of what you have given over the years. It's just lost. Maybe, especially from a long-term standpoint. And I think dementia does have some effect on your physical well-being. You're not able to take care of yourself like you used to, and that has a bearing on your health and so forth. So it's a very debilitating disease.
Yeah, it's painful to watch.
I just lost my mother a couple of months ago, and I seen some of the effects of dementia, and especially the type of person that she was.
Oh yeah, yeah. What a pillar she was in the community, and she was amazing. She coached the politicians that are seasoned now, that have positions in high places. She was actually their coach early on, and seasoned them, and she was just a remarkable person. She was a cook, she was a mentor, great mother, but not just to your family, but to the whole community. And then to see this disease take her to a place where she couldn't remember, she didn't know who she was, beautiful person. It's extremely painful. So our emotions really do have a place in our life. And we just have to learn how to deal with it. I don't know how anyone can truly deal with their loved one, their mother, or a sibling, a wife, perhaps, a husband, fall into this state of no memory. I never had to deal with that. I've had patients like that, but I've never had it in my own family. My parents, of course, are gone, so I was spared of that. My husband's gone, I was spared there. But there's just me left, and my children, my grandkids. So I can't relate to what you have dealt with your mom.
Well, it's something that you can't be prepared for. I mean, it was just to see her deteriorate. Was disheartening, to say the least.
But the beautiful thing about what I see from an outsider looking in is that she loved being a mother, and she loved building the character in her children, and you stepped forward, your whole family stepped forward and took care of her, and that is almost a lost art. There are just a handful of families that are able to accomplish that. Most families are fighting, and there's these power struggles, and some needs aren't met, and they're competing, and there's money issues, and it just gets ugly, and it doesn't need to be, but it's beautiful to see a healthy way of dealing with it.
One of my friends just lives a few blocks from here. There's affinity because his family's Hungarian. My mom knew that family. Their families knew each other. The father was in a prolonged illness before he passed away. I think it was 3 to 5 years that he lingered with this illness, but he was kept at home almost the entire time. And they did take shifts, and they took care of him. And he passed away, and I told them, I said, when I was talking to him, and they handled it very well, though. And I think they might appreciate what I said. I said that all the year, basically life, when somebody's life ends, a lot of the stuff we go through is actually regret. We could have done more. but they can honestly look themselves in the mirror. They can look anybody in the eye and say, we did everything we could for them because they did.
Yeah.
I mean, this was an extreme expense, agonizing to watch family member slip away, which he had done, it was doing. And to me, it's like, I just feel like very privileged to know this family.
Yeah.
Because they actually stayed with that person throughout that entire time, not taking the easy way out, put him into a home or anything. They were around him 24/7. And I mean, it gets very emotional when you think about that they had to, some level every day, see that he was not getting better. Mm-hmm. He was getting worse. He's more dependent upon him each day, each time as time passed. But he was just an amazing, I mean, that was an amazing family. And it's just, if you just look down the street, what made them so different from everybody else around them? I mean, they just had this value, what their priorities was just so, like I said, I get emotional thinking about what they had to endure and how long they did go through, yet how steadfast they were in that. I mean, I think they're just great people. I mean, and they're if they ever, I like to have them come in sometime. I don't see them very often now because the family, since he passed away, has gone their own way. But they stuck it together through the entire time, and I'd like to have them come in and talk maybe for your show.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
They did with their serious role of caregiver, and I think you'd love to hear what they have to say if they would talk about it, because they're such a I don't think they're aware of how good people they really are. I mean, I really don't think they're aware of what they did when you look at it in society today. What people say, "I'll just put them in a home." Yeah, I mean, they're just amazing people.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. But the government's not going to let that happen. Where they are, life is just so expensive. If you put them someplace, it's very expensive. But see, that's really a good thing. I think that's a great topic that we should talk about. Is our tools to make this successful. It's part of what we do. We try to educate people, but it's the people that make it so special. Like your family you're talking about, like Ron's family. His sister came in from out of state and traveled on the train because she lives in a rural community, but made it in. I mean, there's success there, and we need those types of role models, especially with our aging population.
Yeah, it's serious. I mean, so many people would be reluctant or just flat out refused to entertain the idea of helping out somebody to that depth.
Yeah.
This family just did it.
Yeah.
I didn't ever hear there was any kind of argumentation. They might have had. And they can't really fault them. That doesn't take away or detract from the fact that they might have. But look what they've done.
It's beautiful. Amazing. I think it's beautiful. I know there's a lot of caregivers out there that have done a successful and wonderful job, very patient, very kind, very loving. Everything that we're supposed to do, they've done. But there's something that happened way back. That's my point.
Well, one of the things that amazes me is that there are a lot of people out there that are caregivers that don't realize they're caregivers. Mm-hmm. They're doing something because a family member needs help, and they don't know a title to put to it.
Right.
They're just helping out mom or dad or the daughter.
It's the family unit, and that's how it operates.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And they forget that they have a title. Their new title is a caregiver.
Well, not only forget, they don't even think of it in those terms.
I didn't either.
I never thought of that until you and I met. I just never thought of being a caregiver. And here I am, helping two people out. And it was just something I do.
Yeah. There are some wonderful tips from people out there. And, with that said, we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming event on May 18th at the Birch Run Expo Center. We're going to be hosting I believe it's the first caregiver retreat and symposium, and it is for people like us. And this is a place where we can get together and get to know one another and understand and find ways that we can cope and find support and find out what's available in our state and in our region, in our own city. And so we are extending this invitation to you, the caregiver out there. If you have an invention, or if you have a business or something that you would like to showcase at the symposium, we just want you to get a hold of us because you're important to us and we want you there. I had a family I spoke with today. She had looked at an opportunity to join us at the symposium. She has a beautiful business, and it's a business for cancer individuals that lose their hair. And she does a consulting business. If she wouldn't have contacted me, I wouldn't have known that she was even interested in coming to the symposium, being a vendor there. And so we invited her. Her name is Barb, and we are very excited to have her as a vendor at the symposium. Thank you for your interest, and we know that you're going to bring a lot of joy to the families, especially the husbands that are married to an individual, their wife, who may be losing her hair. And what Barb does is so beautiful. She has a little beauty shop off her home, and she's turned it into a type of consultation area where if you are an individual and you are receiving treatment, mostly chemotherapy, you're going to lose your hair. And so she recommends that the family gets in there, the husband and wife, or maybe it's a child. You get in to see her, she'll counsel you, and she'll fit you for a wig. She'll teach you how to wash your hair, how to clean your scalp, just wonderful things. She'll teach you what you have to do. You have to get a prescription from your doctor, so the insurance company will pay for this piece of equipment that you're going to be wearing on your head. And she actually counsels you, but it's a very tender subject when you're getting sick. I was trying to put myself in a cancer victim's shoes. I know how my hair is. I've always had a great head of hair. I've always had a great color. I'm known for my hair. What if I lose it? It's my identity. When people describe me, oh, she has black hair. I don't know what I would be feeling if I ended up with cancer and started to lose my hair. It's a part of my identity. I know men talk about that all the time. When they start to go bald, they start getting insecure. I can't even imagine what it's like for a woman. And so I'm just very, very grateful to this wonderful cosmetologist that's built this beautiful building. She's located on Couton Street in Flushing, and she has a beautiful, beautiful business. She just doesn't she's just not a hairdresser. She's a counselor, and she has a beautiful heart for people that need, this special type of care. She also told me about a program called, I think it's Better or Good Health or Good Look Good, Better Health, something like that. It's an organization that the Cancer Society works with this group, and she does locks of love. And she cuts ponytails off individuals, little kids, and so they make these wigs for children and things. And she's a wonderful, wonderful, good Samaritan type individual. So welcome, Barb, to the symposium, and I know that people are going to truly, truly appreciate you. And I had, since we're talking about Alzheimer's today, I received this book. It's a free publication. It's called Care Advantage, and it's for caregivers of people with Alzheimer's disease and related illnesses. It's a free publication you can pick up all over the place. It's a quarterly magazine, and this particular one has clown therapy. And they bring in the clowns, and these clowns go to facilities, and they use humor to redirect their patients. And I just think it's wonderful. So I contacted them today and asked them some questions and wanted to know if Michigan had a clown foundation for people with Alzheimer's and dementia. And I am eagerly waiting for a response from them. But I would love to host a workshop for this. I would love to work with the clowns. I would love to work with individuals that would like to use humor therapy, which they call humor science medicine. I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see us get more of this type of ministry into the homes and into the nursing homes, assisted living for our patients, because everybody can relate to a clown. They're fun. Bozo the clown. I'm trying to think of some of the other clowns that we had. What was the other ones? Howdy Doody had some clowns, didn't he? Howdy Doody was a clown, wasn't he? Clarabelle. Yeah, Clarabelle. I can't remember. That was before me. We had Bozo. And we had puppets. We had Bullwinkle and things like that. But as far as clowns, the only clown I can remember was Bozo.
Bozo, and also the Clarabelle. And there's another one too. My mom used to like him, Emmett Kelly.
Oh,
yeah.
Ellen Kelly, I
yes.
think it
Oh,
was, yeah.
absolutely. Red Skelton used to do that clown.
Yeah, with
act
sweeping
where he'd
up.
sweep the
Yeah,
light. And,
yeah.
And Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
She
Well,
was,
those two are amazing artists. I mean, as far as the comedy, I mean, the Carol Burnett show was phenomenal. I mean, there was cutting edge. It was like kind of running at the edge there, like what is
Yeah.
acceptable society wise for humor. I mean, they crossed over a few times. They got backlash, but I mean, it was for humor. She was brilliant, and her whole cast and crew. I mean, Harvey Korman, Tim Conway, Carol, was it Vicki Lawrence?
Vicki Lawrence, and just the
Lyle
stars.
Wagner. Those guys are just phenomenal for that. They could push the envelope. And I remember the Red Skelton show. I mean, I love this stuff. I mean, the one that he did with the seagull. He did the bit with the seagull. I remember he played Heathcliff or something like that. The seagull. It was funny. I mean, he just did. It was silly stuff, and now I don't know even if he would cut it. But I mean, to me, it was hilarious as
Well,
a
it's
kid.
still funny because you can watch it. They're selling these Carol Burnett episodes as a set. You can buy them on TV, and they're still funny. Still funny today.
Did
But
you ever watch the Seinfeld show
yeah,
with Kramer?
Kramer's hilarious. Yeah.
He's scared of clowns.
One of my ex-girlfriends was scared of clowns too. I said, "How would you be scared of clowns?" My dad was a Shriner, so I mean,
That's funny. How can you be afraid of a clown? Oh my God.
Well, it's like, I mean, but then that TV series movie they had out about Stephen King novel It, and they had that clown that was a sinister character in that. You ever
yeah.
see that? That was terrifying.
Yeah.
I watched it on television, and for me, for a television movie, that was pretty terrifying.
Yeah. What is that? Chucky? They have Chucky.
Chucky,
Chucky.
they take
yeah.
these like stuff that your childhood innocent thing, and they put a spin on it and make it sinister. I mean, thank you very much for making something that used to be as a comforting a nightmare. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, but see, we're laughing about that. That's just great. Yeah, some of that stuff. You're right. But it was so entertaining, and so I just think this is a great program. I cannot wait until the Alzheimer group gets in touch with me. This is in New York City, and I'm really, really excited to hear what they have to say and how we can bring these clowns to our caregivers, because not only will they laugh, but the patients will laugh. It talks about a little story in here about one of the clowns enters a nursing home, and he walks up to someone and asks if she'll marry him. And it's an ongoing thing. And he takes her to the dining room, and they have lunch, and she's thinking she's going to get married, and she doesn't see a clown at all. She just sees a man. And so who knows where she's at? But she understands the relationship. She understands that he's there to help her, and it's just really great. So I'm really excited about that. The magazine also talks about baffling by behavior problems, some of the risks that are involved when we don't deal with our emotions, and that we need to get a handle on that. But first we have to identify how we get there. And one of the first signs of burnout is you're just tired, and you just tell yourself you can't do it anymore. And by then you're past that. You're just really, really tired, and you get angry, and there's a lot of issues, but there's healthy ways of dealing with that. And we're going to be discussing some of those things at our Caregiver Pamper Party, which is on March 9th. It's a Saturday from 10 to 4 at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Montrose. And they have been so kind. They allowed us to use their building for the rest of the year for our caregiver support events, and they are just an absolute blast. People have a wonderful time. It costs $25 if you're a caregiver and you need a day out. We encourage you to come, and you can contact me at 810-845-6713, and we would love to have you come. And that's what we do these things for. We don't want these events to be sad or full of challenges. We want them to be full of hope and support, that when you leave, you will be a much better caregiver than you were when you entered the doors. We have all types of support coming, and you will love it. And of course, Dr. Schmidt will be back next month, and she's going to do a 3-hour presentation for us caregivers to help us truly get in touch with some of the things that we've been bearing in our behavior. And I know I'm very guilty of that. The first time I heard Dr. Schmidt's CDs, I was on my way to Chicago, and I was in the back seat, and I had my CD player on, and I was listening to it, and she was able, it felt like she was speaking directly to me, and she was able to break through those emotional walls that I had around me. And I always say, when I put my arms out, at the tip of my fingers, that's how thick my walls are, because I want to be protected. I do not want any more pain to come into my world. And that's a pretty thick wall. That's almost a 12-foot wall there. But she was able to break through those walls, and just by her gentle voice, and she was speaking to me, and I didn't know that. And so I know her message is just so powerful, but it was an opportunity for me to understand that there's still too much pain in my life, and I can let it go, and it's safe. I can let it. So I'm sobbing in the back seat, just crying away in the back seat, listening to the CD. But it was extremely helpful and very cleansing. And so our caregiver support groups might not always be that painful. Maybe it's just me, but we really try to bring something wonderful to the table. So we would like you to come. So if you have any questions and you want to come, if you'd like to be a vendor, we'd like to have you. And you can contact me at 810-845-6713. You can visit the website at www.ndcaregiver.org. And don't forget, if you'd like to register to be a vendor or a sponsor for the convention, it's caregiverconvention.org. And you can sign up there. Or you can mail a check with the application to the P.O. Box 208, Swartz Creek, Michigan 48473. So that's our little commercial. Got that out of the way. And we want to talk a little bit more about some things that are coming up. I think Genesee County has a new program. It's a 411 number. I believe it's a 411 number. This is a number, if you need any type of help at all, you can dial 411 and you'll be contacted or you'll be directed to an operator that'll be able to assist you. It's really a wonderful thing that the Commission on Aging has worked very hard at getting together, and we thank them for that, because it took a lot of volunteers and a lot of long hours trying to perfect this thing and get it up and running. They're working on some new projects, and that'll be coming out soon. But we thank those people. We thank the people at the Agency on Aging. They are doing wonderful things for our senior community. And there's so many other people that are involved. If you'd like to get involved with the Commission on Aging, contact your local area on aging and let them know that you'd like to be a member. Your financial support helps them to fund the programs. They do get some government dollars to assist them, but all of us are aging. Every minute we're aging, and we're going to reach that that time in our life, and we need to know what the resources are, and we need to be a part of the planning. And so we just encourage you to do that. So just want to let you know about that. Big Brothers Big Sisters is having their bowling tournament. I believe it's this weekend. It's at, I want to say, Galaxy Lanes. I'm not sure. I think it's Galaxy Lanes, and I cannot place where that is right now. I don't know if it's on Pearson Road, but that's a great fundraiser to participate in. It's one of their big fundraisers, and it helps children, boys and girls.
Isn't that out by Grand Blanc? Hill Road?
It might be.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be on Hill Road, Hill and 475 in the Genesee County area. And that is a good thing to participate in. I'm a really good bowler. I love to bowl. Of course, I lived in Milwaukee 20 years. You're the bowling capital of the world. And I happened to bowl at the Red Carpet Lanes, actually. And it was just a little bowling alley, 30, 40 lanes. And then they built this huge bowling alley, one on each side, 100 lanes on each side. And that's where I bowled.
It's 2226 East Hill Road, Grand Blanc in Michigan here. So
Okay.
Okay.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and contact them and if you're a bowler, even if you're not a bowler, it's a fun thing to do. So you want to participate with that. But yeah, we bowled, and we'd have to shut down our league for a week so they could bring the pros in, the Miller Lite bowling tournament. Yeah, I remember the Flintstones. Everyone remembers the Flintstones, and the big thing that they did was go bowling, right?
Oh,
You remember how they would dance and they would walk on 2 toes, with the bowling ball and be really quiet and then crash.
Well, Nancy, did you here on the east side when I was a kid, right here in Franklin, there used to be a bar in the neighborhood that had like 2 or 3 lanes for bowling called the Marianne, and I went up there like 2 or 3 times with friends of mine that bowled on their Saturday league, kids. And I remember it was like smoke filled. I was choking because it was from the night after. It was so smoky. And my friend's dad would always buy me a pop, and I'd sit there and drink the pop and watch his kids bowl, But I remember that because there was like 2 or 3 lanes like squeezed in there, like real small. But they managed to put like 2 or 3 bowling lanes in there. I thought that was it was right here in the neighborhood, right? So you could, when I was a kid, you didn't even have to leave the neighborhood to actually be able to do everything you wanted to do pretty much.
Yeah.
They had a bowling alley right there. I mean, that was pretty cool,
Yeah. No, I don't remember that, but I know when we lived in Milwaukee, there was a TV show called Bowling for Dollars. So you were a contestant. You just send in your name, and if you got your name drawn, you could come and bowl against a pro. And it was Bowling for Dollars, and they loved it there. It was a big show.
Well, like Laverne and Shirley, they showed a couple episodes considering it took place in a bowling. Laverne DeFazio's dad had a pizzeria next to a bowling, connected to a bowling alley.
Yeah.
So, they had that going on all the time. So there was always like a backdrop was bowling in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I never picked up on that when I was a kid. That was such an important thing. And then I found I think there's a Bowlers Hall of Fame or something up there.
Oh, it's something else. Milwaukee's a great town. I mean, it's the town of Harley Davidson. The bikes come through on 94, and there's bridges, and people just stand on these bridges and just watch the bikes come in, and they go right down to Lake Michigan, and it's just the coolest thing. And they have frozen custard. It's delicious. It's like ice cream, but it's a custard. They have great hamburgers. They have everything. Delicious Polish food,
population too.
Yeah, German food and Italian, anything. But it's known for the town of steeples, the churches. When you're coming in on 94, you will the freeway kind of goes high because there's the train tracks below, and you're up high on the freeway, and you can see all the steeples, and you can see all the churches in that town, and you can almost pick out which community they are based on the steeples. The steeples have an identity. I didn't know that till I moved there. It's if they're dome, you're one religion. If it's a pointed steeple, it's another religion. It's just amazing. Just beautiful cathedrals down there.
My mom used to kid. She said when she was going there, when she had relatives there, if you could see over the counter at a bar, they'd serve you beer. If you could peel over the counter, they would give you a beer. And it wasn't far from the truth. That was before all the licensing and the regulations.
That's funny.
That was like early, late 30s, early 40s, because she was a kid at that era.
That's
if you could see over the bar, they'd give you a beer.
That's too funny. That's hilarious. I didn't know that one. I do know in South Milwaukee, there's Milwaukee, and then there's South Milwaukee, and there's West Milwaukee. In South Milwaukee, they are known to have the most bars in their little city. There's like 3 bars on every corner. Yeah. So you drink too much at one bar, and you get kicked out, and you cross the street. And they serve you. And then everybody go down to this restaurant called the Ritz in Bayview and get scrambled eggs. And off they go. They go home. But it's a really fun town. Very ethnic, and it's just fun. And if anyone's ever watched Ferris Bueller, that's what it's like in Milwaukee. My kids relate to that movie so much because their life was like that. We lived out in the country, and we have 20 minutes from the city, and it was just a riot for them. A good town to raise a family, very clean. They had a gorilla at the Milwaukee County Zoo named Samson, and this little gorilla came as a baby, and he grew up to be a teenager, and then grew up to be an old man, and he died. That whole county mourned for that gorilla. They had a funeral. They had, everything.
They can live 40, 50 years too, can't they?
Yeah, it's just amazing how this community, it's the big city. When the Brewers won the baseball title, it was just great. Everything shut down. Everybody went downtown. They saw the parade. They had a song made up, and I remember it was Raleigh Fingers and Robin Yount and Paul Molitor and Pete Vukovich and Oh my, and Gorman, what was his name? He was the funny one. Gorman Thomas, I think, or Thomas Gorman or something like that. Curly hair guy, and it was the greatest thing because I could take the kids to the Milwaukee County baseball game to pay $2.50 for a bleacher seat. Go down there for an afternoon game. We would leave in about the 5th inning, come home, eat supper. They would get their Little League uniform on. They go play baseball, and that it was just, that's how fun it was, and it was very safe. And then and the Little League there was an actual official Little League from Williamsport, and they had uniforms and patches and tournaments, and they competed with one city to the next. It was just an absolute riot. And when we moved to Michigan, it was disappointing because the baseball leagues here, they called Little League, but they were nothing like Little League. They were more like youth baseball, nothing competitive like what my kids were used to, But it was a great town, And I don't know, I wasn't in Flint when the big athletic heyday took place. I didn't live here at that time. But apparently Flint has some good memories when it comes to athletic ability and some of the games. And, we were here, though, when the Mateen Cleaves and some of those kids played ball.
That was real later on.
Yeah.
Because when I was coming up, Flint was quite a sports town. We had a number of athletes that, and still do produce some pretty decent athletes from here, but those that went on to Michigan State, some other colleges.
Yeah.
Was it Leroy Bolden and some others? I can't remember the names now, but
Flint it really does produce some athletes in this town.
Oh yeah.
It's in the water. Yeah, there's something to be said. But
one thing, youth were introduced to sports at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
With Mott Foundation being here, we had Mott football and summer league baseball and stuff like that. So, and then we had the Canusa games, Flint Olympic games. I remember one year I participated in the Olympics.
Oh.
I was a teenager then. I didn't train. I was running track.
You were running track?
Yeah. I was pretty decent, but I didn't train like I should have.
Yeah.
And I didn't do very well.
Well, the Canusa games are really a big deal. They were a real big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we weren't here at the time. I do remember the kids, after we moved to Michigan, they did play in the Canusa games, and everybody thought it was just the greatest thing. I didn't quite understand it, but, I'm kind of caught. I'm first-generation American. My family's from Canada, and then I, was born here, so I've got loyalty on both sides, But I remember when we'd go back to Canada for our family reunions. Of course, now that we were in the States, my family we'd play these games, competition and stuff, and they would always say, if the Canadians won, the damn Canadians won. They would always say that, But they had some really great times, and, just talking about some things. My father's birthday will be coming up. Of course, he's been gone almost 40 years. It's hard to believe, almost 40 years. And he used to have this saying, and we were talking about things that we remember as we age and what we want to pass on to our kids. So my dad would say, we would go to my grandparents' house, and we lived over in the Kearsley School District area, and we would take Carpenter Road around the dam, and the Kearsley Dam. And we'd get near that dam, and my dad would always recite this little saying, and he'd say, I went to the dam to get some dam water. And the dam man said, I couldn't have any dam water. So I told the dam man to keep his dam water. And then he would tell us not to repeat that in front of our mother. And you stop and you think about some of these things, you're thinking they're kind of swear words, but when you put it into perspective, that was truly the dam. We were driving around the dam. And, but the Canadians were known for their little stories like that. And if somebody asked your name, it was, what's your name? And the response was Puddintain, and ask me again, I'll tell you the same. All of those things. And I'm finding myself talking to my grandkids that way and passing on these things that
tidbit.
exactly. It's just the funniest thing because they are so removed from being Canadian whatsoever. But just little funny things like that. And I wish I could remember some more, but I don't. I just don't remember. I do remember tea time, though. I do remember that the Canadians would stop for tea about 2 in the afternoon. And they would have little sandwiches and thin pieces of lunch meat on bread or fruit and things like that. And they would set the table so nice. You know, it was just the weirdest thing. And I didn't know it was a big deal. It's a tradition. Little did I know we were hungry. That's all we cared about. We were just hungry. But and it's funny. I'm teaching my granddaughters those things, and they actually like it. You know, but traditions. We need to keep those traditions in our family. And again, we go back to laughter, which we started out with. Great things that we remember. And it needs to be passed on. That's our heritage. And we need to continue that. And so we've got about 15 minutes left in the show, and we're just really glad that you joined us. And if you have any questions and you'd like to participate in any of the activities that we're doing, we just encourage you to contact us. And you can call me personally at 810-845-6713 or email me at nancy@ndcaregiver.com, and I will answer your email the best that I can. At this time, I just want to thank some of the people that are involved with the symposium. I want to thank the Rick Barnett Financial Group for sponsoring, being a sponsor at the symposium. Rick Barnett has a wonderful program for financial help if you're a caregiver and you need some assistance with trying to prepare your budget. Rick would be a good person for you to see. He does a wonderful job of helping you save money. Our friend Ron here, he has a wonderful computer program that we are going to be launching at the symposium. And it is a program that is meant for caregivers. It will take what your budget is for the year, and we'll set it all up, and it makes it very easy so you can understand where your money is going, because so many times you just wonder, geez, I made all this money this year, and where did it go? And it could just be simply just looking at it, just some feedback when you're looking at the words and dollar signs. And it's really a great program. It's something you've been using for a number of years, and it's always been successful for you, and you used it for your mom, and it helped out, and you know, it just makes everything so much easier. And so those are two people that I wanted to mention. I want to thank American Access Rental Vans for sponsoring us as well, and they have a wonderful product. It's a mobility van. If you need transportation, you can rent this van for about $79 a day, and it's a beautiful piece of equipment. It has a ramp inside, and you can put your person that you're taking care of that's perhaps in a wheelchair. You can put straps on the floor, and you can ride safely with them, and you can get them to the appointments easily. Or if you just want to take a trip up north, or visit your family or something, you can rent that. It's very affordable, and it won't cost you a whole lot of money. If I remember correctly, you can sometimes get insurance reimbursement for renting this van, so that makes it a lot easier as well. But you want to contact our dear friend Jerry Odglin at American Access Mobility Vans and talk to him, and he will take good care of you. I want to thank the Susky dealership also for embracing the Institute. They've given us a lot of really great people that are coming on board with the symposium. We want to thank Andy Jr., especially, who we've been talking with mostly about some of the great people he's brought to us, and so many other really great companies that have come on board. The Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's just so many, I can't even remember all of them. Well, we just thank all of you. If it wasn't for your support, we wouldn't be able to put on this fine event, and this event is for you, the caregiver. It's a place where you can go for resources. It's just something that we really want to do, and we're doing it for you. So please mark your calendar for May 18th and come to the Birch Run Expo Center about 10 a.m. and come and see what we've prepared for all of you. If you're a person that's paid to care, it's an event for you as well. If you have a business and you'd like to participate, we're asking for you to contact us. And don't wait too long because we're filling up quite fast, and we appreciate that. Excuse me. As you know, I've been sick. Yeah, we missed it. I've had some terrible illnesses, and it's led into a secondary infection, which is my ears, and that always hurts. Having a middle ear infection is not always good, and so talking too much doesn't help. I get that little horse in my throat, as they call it. I wonder where that phrase came from. Horse in your throat. That's probably the neigh, I don't know, but anyway, I have to clear my throat. Fun things are going on. I had an opportunity to make a presentation to the Flint Kiwanis group, and I wanted to thank all of them for allowing me to come in, and enjoyed them very much. They served lunch, and I could not believe the spread they had. They had salmon, a vegetable tray, a few salads, delicious homemade bread, dessert. Just hospitality was just unbelievable, and it was just wonderful, and I thank them for that. Met some really great people there, and told them a little bit about what we do. And sometimes people have a hard time understanding what we do. We just do too much. But we're glad that we're here for you, and we are almost February. We're in February already, and it was about 4 years ago that coming up on Joe's birthday, February 27th, is when I first launched the nonprofit. And it's amazing what we have done in 4 short years. And we've been on the air for about a year now, over a year, and that was a huge undertaking, but we made it, and we make it because people like you are telling us that we're important, and we appreciate that so very, very much. So let's talk about the weather. Now, last year we had a very, very warm winter. I did not think we were going to have a warm winter this year.
And we haven't.
It's
been up and down.
Isn't it? Yeah, and we're going to get rain this week.
When it gets cold, it gets cold.
Oh, it does get cold. And we have had some pretty cold days.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was a little worried about the snow. We had all that snow. It was so pretty. I was up at 5 in the morning. It was just the prettiest scene, and the wind started blowing, and the trees started shaking, and it was just so pretty. And now it's all gone. Now we have puddles, and it's just neat. Everything's so gray and gloomy. But I think March and November are probably the most depressing months of the year. I call those transition months.
Well, I think March is an excellent month.
You think March is an excellent month? Is that your birthday? Yeah. My mother and my father were both born in March. I had a child born in March, and yeah. My mother's birthday was on March 17th. And
we kept in mind. March 10th.
Yeah, March 10th, that's my father's birthday. It's Joe's granddaughter's birthday. It's the day that I had a baby, and yeah, that's a big day, March 10th. And yeah, it's a green month. It's a money month.
I hope so.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, exactly. It's really a great month. Really nice. I know the green beer is going to be coming. Yeah, everybody's talking about that. Now, is it New York City that has the Green River?
I'm not sure.
Chicago.
St.
Patrick's Day, they dyed the river, green.
I wonder if it's really green.
I'm quite sure they probably do.
Yeah, the Green River. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really green. I think no, I wasn't down there. I have seen it. Yeah, I think it was down there one time when it was St. Patty's Day. Yeah. I've been to Chicago a few times, but never for St. Patrick's Day.
Nor have I, but I've been to Chicago a number of times.
Yeah. Actually, coming up in March, there is going to be the 7th annual Caregiver Convention, and I would truly like to go. And I know that we were one of 7 people that were was sent an opportunity to receive a grant, and of course we didn't get it, but just the opportunity to be included in the grant process was a true honor, and we're thankful for that. Maybe next year we can get that funding, but it's really a great opportunity. The more funding we can get, the more caregivers we can help, and we really want to raise funds to give the caregivers some much needed respite services, and that is why we do what we do, not only education and support, but financial opportunities to receive that rest and care. We want to thank the Old English Inn in Eaton Rapids for allowing us to do a respite retreat there. Sometime after the symposium, we're going to be having a beautiful respite retreat for individuals that are able to travel a little bit. It is the mansion of the founder of Oldsmobile, and I've been there many times, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's a big Tudor mansion on several acres, has a rose garden. It'd just be a wonderful place for the caregivers to go. Each room has its own bathroom, a fireplace. It's just gorgeous. They have a big dining room. The food is spectacular. They still get all the pampering that they always would get. They get their breakfast in bed, and we have our little workshops, and it'll be really nice. And so we are looking forward to hosting one of those in Eaton Rapids. And the Eaton Rapids is just outside of Lansing. It's only like 10, 15 miles, I think, outside of Lansing, and just a beautiful, beautiful place. And if you would like to visit there, go to their website, oldenglishin.com, and you can see what we're talking about. So we're always looking for new places to have respite retreats. If you have a home or something up on the lake, up in Charlevoix or whatever, and you would like to allow the Institute to use that for a respite retreat, we sure could use that. We've got so many caregivers out there that would greatly appreciate that opportunity, and that's what we're here for, is to offer those short break vacations for our well-deserved caregiver. We've only got about 4 minutes left. About 4 minutes left, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got about 4 minutes left, yeah. So
a little bit more than that, yeah. About 6 minutes.
6 minutes? Okay, because this clock is a little different here. I don't know if it loses time, or
I got a new clock here. I just got to put it in. It's just I haven't got a chance to do it. So.
Yeah, I've often thought about bringing my timer in here. My granddaughters spend the night. I'll tell them they have 5 minutes to get dressed, brush their teeth, and comb their hair. And then when they hear the bell, they're in trouble. So
I just run. I was out to Big Lots last week, and I saw one there for a few bucks. I picked it up. So hopefully that works better than that one over we have.
Yeah. So. Time is time. We can slow down time. None of us care, do we? None of us care. Yeah, it's something we can't change, can we?
No.
Not at all. I know. I've been.
Here and it's gone.
Oh my goodness! I know. I've been. The beginning of this year, we were talking about different books that we thought that were good for caregivers, and one of the books I've been reading is about the 10 Commandments, and I was really upset when those little children lost their lives in December, and I really trying hard to make some sense out of what happened. I'll never understand it, but I need an understanding to stay focused and not get upset when things like this happen. So I've been reading this Bible study called the 10 Commandments. It is really a good book. It's very in-depth. I mean, it's got like 12 days that you do it, but I can't. It's almost 6 weeks or so, and it's too in-depth. It's very deep. It's a very, very deep book to read, and I'll share sometime about some of the things I've learned with that book, and it's just simple morals. Thou shalt not kill. It's just simple morals, simple instructions. Another big upset is the resignation of our Pope, and that's really been an upset. Very, very interesting.
He said he's getting up in age.
Yeah.
You just can't get around like you used to, and so forth. So that's understandable. I mean, every man has to know his own limits.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and there's some honesty there, and he's done what he feels he can do, and you can't ask for anything more. And so we are just with the people and hope that the correct pope will be appointed, and I'm sure that's going to be something that the Catholics will rejoice about, and and so we're just hoping everything will work out and God will have His way, and that's the most important thing, and that we can't forget that, and we try not to put our views on anything, but there is some place that we go after we leave this world, and we just have to have an understanding. But we know that God is with us when we're taking care of somebody that's sick. I know that from my own experience, and I've seen it with some of my patients. And the Spirit is very close to you when you're going through an ordeal like that. Our problem is we don't always trust. We don't always want to feel what we're feeling. It's very uncomfortable to have a little bit of distress in our life, but we just have to trust and know that everything is taken care of, and it was designed that way way, way, way back before we even came into the picture, and that's really hard to comprehend, and one day we'll know what that's all about. And so if you're a caregiver today, I just want you to know that you're prayed for every morning. I pray for you, and I know there are a number of people that pray for you, hoping that you're going to make it through every single day. So if you're not able to do that, that's okay. You have people that support you and love you, and you're prayed for. And sometimes you might not think that prayer really matters, but it truly, truly does. And I know in my experience, people are praying for me, and it did make a difference. And now I'm on this side. It's my opportunity to pray for you. So I just want you to know that you're loved and prayed for and cared about, and that we're here to support you. So we've probably got another minute or so left. You have 3 minutes left. This clock is very slow. So we don't want to go over. But if you have any questions, and if you have a topic perhaps that you would like us to discuss, shoot me an email at nancy@ndcaregiver.com, and we'll address that. And we just want you to know that we're here for you. Please mark your calendar to come to the March 9th Pamper Me party for caregivers at the KFC Hall and in Montrose, Michigan. It's 400 Saginaw Street in Montrose, and it is about 5 miles west of I-75. So it's not that far to go, and you'll have a wonderful time. And I want to thank Sharon Clark, my volunteer coordinator, for organizing this great event. And the people that have attended, they tell us they've just had a wonderful, wonderful time. And they're all coming back. Our vendors and our sponsors are coming back. And that's a good sign. But we need the caregivers. That's what it's for. We need you, the caregiver. You need to come and see what we're doing for you. And you will have a great support system, and you'll be able to reach out to others as they reach out to you. So we encourage you to come. And don't forget to mark your calendar for May 18th, the Caregiver Retreat and Symposium at the Birch Run Expo Center, beginning at 10 a.m. If you'd like hotel accommodations, you can contact me, 810-845-6713. So with that said, we're going to say goodbye for this week. And next week, we're going to have the Kidney Foundation on, and they're going to talk about keeping your kidneys well. So we love you. You take care. You have a great week. And this is Nancy and Ron, and we're going to say goodbye for now. You have a great week. You take care. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.